Hello everyone. So today I'm going to be making traditional Vietnamese spring rolls. Today's recipe is provided by Van at foodis4letterword.com. And yes, I'm probably still one of the few people that print out their recipes. Now what is funny is that the recipe is called Crispy Vietnamese Egg Rolls. And in Australia, we call them spring rolls. It must be an American thing for spring rolls to be referred to as egg rolls. But either way, the Vietnamese call them chả giò. Now, if my mom is watching this, she's probably thinking, ôi trời ơi, tại sao con làm chả giò mà không kêu mẹ làm cho giùm hả? Alright, so let's look at the ingredients that we need. First up, we need a pound or 500 grams of ground pork or chicken. A quarter of a pound of raw prawns that have been deveined. Now, the recipe did call for a quarter of a pound, which is roughly over 100 grams. When I bought it from the shop, I think I got a bit too much at 316 grams, which is almost about 3 times the amount that the recipe called for. But you know what? I love my seafood, so I'm not fussed and I'm gonna have a lot of prawns in my spring rolls. A quarter of a cup of finely shredded carrots. Now half a cup of dried wood ear mushrooms or black fungus. You can buy these from your Asian supermarket. So I got this bag of black fungus strips for 80 grams at $1.95. Now when you rehydrate this whole bag, you get this massive bowl. So obviously I've made too much, but oh well, I can use the leftovers in other recipes like noodles and maybe mix them with some omelets. But here, if you're not familiar with these mushrooms, I'm just gonna nibble on one and hear how crunchy they are. They don't have much of a flavor, but here. These are ridiculously crunchy. Half a cup of finely diced shallots. It's cheaper in Australia to buy red onions, so yeah, I settled for red onions. And dried bean thread noodles. And the next most important ingredient are your spring roll pastries. You can get these at your Asian supermarkets, usually in the frozen section, for quite cheap. The recipe said that I can yield about 24 spring rolls, so I bought 2 packets, which makes 40 rolls altogether. Woohoo! If you're going to make spring rolls, probably the first things you want to do before you start cooking is leaving these to thaw out for about an hour, rehydrating the mushrooms, which also took about an hour. I'm gonna see if this prevents my eyes from tearing up from the onions. Although I think I face another problem now, is my mask is fogging up. Still bad! I think at the end of the day, the proportion of ingredients that you put into your spring rolls is up to your own personal preference. You know, some of you might like more meat, some of you might like more vegetables. So here are my bean noodles. Got some sugar. A couple of dashes of salt. Some black pepper. Some garlic powder. And some chicken bouillon powder, or chicken bouillon powder, however you want to say it. And then now we mix all of the ingredients together to make sure that the seasoning is all distributed evenly throughout. Just as I start mixing with my hands, my phone starts to ring and I can't pick up. Oops. Now the key thing you want is for the ingredients to somewhat bind together, you know, you don't want to pick up a slab of mixture only for it to crumble, fall apart straight away. You want it to somewhat keep together like that, see? That's what you want, that's kind of the texture that you want. That's how I see my mum do it, so I'm going to follow in her footsteps. Now my mom's probably watching this and thinking, oh no, you put too much of this ingredient and not enough of that ingredient. Well, too bad, Mom. These are my spring rolls. The recipe does say that you want to keep a layer of paper towel on top. That way the pastry doesn't dry out. You want to be very gentle in peeling off the pastries. If you rush it, you end up ripping them. Let's try wrapping my very first spring roll. Now apparently, if you're making a small slish size spring roll, you put your mixture bang on in the center, like so. Dab your hands in this little bowl of water, place some at the bottom here, and you want to fold up once, tuck it in. Now you want it to feel somewhat firm, you don't want it to feel very loose, otherwise there's a chance that the spring roll will burst. And what we're going to do is fold pastry in sideways like so, like that. So make sure it's tight, and then fold upwards. Like that. This one feels a bit loose, to be honest. So my first one isn't great. My first one feels a bit too loose, but you know what? Practice makes perfect, so I'm just going to keep going. Don't give up. Alright, so it's been an hour later and I've wrapped up, I forgot to keep count. Let's see. 26 spring rolls. So before we start frying, we just want to get this oil really hot. We want to have this strainer with paper towels to dry off our spring rolls once they've done frying. Yep. Please don't break, please don't break. No, you just want to fry them until they're golden brown, which should take a few minutes. See if I can give these a taste test. Oh wow. They are pretty damn good. Not a bad job, Logan. Not a bad job for your first bloody time, mate. Here we have some lettuce, some chives. You can garnish your spring rolls with whatever other greens you like. But yeah, I made some spring rolls, baby. It might look like I've got Cole's Italian tomato paste here, but it's actually Vietnamese nước chấm. You can either make this at home or buy it at your supermarket. It's a very Asian thing to just reuse jars by the sauces. It's pretty much a sweetened fish sauce with a bit of acidity from either lemon or vinegar. And you can put a bit of garlic and chilies in there, depending on how you want it done. This one has a bit of shredded carrot. But yeah, so nước chấm, the traditional dipping sauce for spring rolls. Look at that. Oh baby. There's such a wonderful range of textures. Now Vietnamese people also like to eat their spring rolls in greens. Really, you can use whatever greens you want, you know. So. The greens do an amazing job of cutting through that oiliness of the food. Let's make it even more Vietnamese by having spring rolls with some cafe soda or Vietnamese iced coffee. Oh wow, that's pretty good. Creamy and not too sweet, just how I like my coffee.